Hi everyone, this video is a mini recap of Checkpoint 1. We'll be taking a look at an example website and its code to see how to satisfy all 5 requirements. Let's remember that the objective for our first checkpoint was focused on having text content. Now let's remember what we are trying to achieve in Checkpoint 1 by reading all 5 requirements. 1. Introduce your site. Add a website header. 2. Create an About Me section. 3. Create 3 or more sections about your favorite things. 4. Change the font family or add some color to your text. 5. Must use either an unordered or ordered list in some way. Let's switch to our index.html file where we have our code for our example website. We can process all of this code that we'll go through in just a second by hitting the run button, and it will visually appear on the right side of the screen. We have our website called Larry's Kingdom. Larry's Kingdom is Larry the Lion's personal website. Larry the Lion is Dreams for School's mascot, and he wanted his own website so he could tell you more about himself. Before I get into the code, I'm just going to quickly say that I'll be switching between index.html and checkpoint 1 and back whenever we satisfy a certain requirement. This way, you can see what chunk of code satisfies which specific requirement. All right, so getting started, we have our head here. And then inside of our head, we have a title that says Larry's Kingdom. This is going to be our title for the tab, or essentially our tab, the title for our web page. And so we can see that this achieves our first checkpoint, which was to add a website header or web page header or website title. They're all more or less the same. Let's go back to our index.html and move on to the body. Remember, everything inside of our body is visually outputted onto our website. So this Larry's Kingdom right here in our H1 element is outputted as our biggest and first piece of text on our website. Moving on to the subsections, we have an About Me section. This About Me section is going to satisfy the second requirement, which is to have an About Me section. Going back, we can see that we're also doing something interesting in this section. Yes, it has a single paragraph, but it is also getting stylized. So this inline styling is going to change the appearance of the default text. So the text is going to appear as Comic Sans, which is different than the other text because we can see that this is kind of bolder, kind of sharper than maybe this paragraph text or even these other words of text. So within our paragraph, we can also see we do a few extra special things that are not exactly requirements, but they make our website different. They make our website unique. We make this phrase or group of words, King of the Jungle, underlined, which is right here on our website. Then we make the word roar bold, which you can see here on the right side. And that's about it. That's interesting for the About Me section. Moving on to the next section, we have activities in the jungle. With activities in the jungle, we can see that we have a bullet pointed list, but not just any list. It's an unordered list. It is unordered because order does not matter here. There's no priority, and so they're bullet points. One thing I forgot to mention is that we are also making the word always italicized. So that's why the single word italicized appear right here. But with this unordered list, this is also going to satisfy another requirement, which is number 5, where we can make an unordered or an ordered list. I actually do both, but we'll get to that in just a second. Actually, it's going to be our next section. So going back to our index.html, we can see that our next section called favorite foods is going to have an ordered list because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In other words, this is a priority list or things that matter based on their order. We also do something interesting in this by changing the color of the text inside or the elements. So this is a favorite foods ordered list, essentially, because it has fruits in it, and each fruit has a different color. And so we change the text color based on the fruit color in real life. So watermelons are green, at least on the outside. And then we have bananas, which are yellow. Blueberries are blue. Apples are red. And oranges are orange. Moving on to our next section, we have, actually, real quick, the color thing is going to satisfy one other thing. It's going to satisfy, it's a requirement that we've already satisfied. It was an either or, which is our font family or some color. So right here, we're adding some color. Again, you don't have to do both, but you can do either or. So looking at trying out new technologies section, we can see it is a one paragraph, but there are different sentences inside that are separated by a line break. And these line breaks are what creates the empty lines of space in between each of the three sentences. Moving on to our next and final paragraph, a short poem. A short poem by Larry the Lion himself. He called this Lion's Roar. And like all poems, each line or each line of text on a poem has its own line, or it goes onto its own line. And so we can do that similarly by using the line breaks. So when we use a line break, we break onto the next line. And now that we've gone through all the sections, we can go back to our checkpoint 1 and see that we also satisfied number 3, create 3 or more sections. So again, just to do a quick summary, just looking at the visuals and not the code, we can see that we have a website header, which is our tab. We then have an About Me section, which includes this page right here. And in this section, we also say to add your title right here. So this is going to be your title name, very first thing. Number 3, create 3 more sections. We have besides the About Me. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 sections. And if you're counting the About Me, technically it's 5. Moving on, we have changed the font family or add some color as number 4. And we did both of those things. We changed the font of the About Me paragraph. So this is in Comic Sans. And then in our favorite foods, we changed the color of each fruit to be its color, again, in real life. Finally, for 5, we are required to have an unordered or an ordered list. So again, you don't have to do both, but one or the other. On this example website, we ended up doing both. We had an unordered list where it has bullet points right here for activities in the jungle. And then going back to our favorite foods, we have an ordered list because things matter, or order matters in this one, where 1 is being Larry the Lion's favorite fruit and 5 being not as great as number 1. Okay, so now let me just finish recapping checkpoint number 1. Let's take a look at what you'll be accomplishing next in checkpoint number 2. Let's read the objective. Start organizing your website with divs and comments. Add in media such as images, links, and videos to supplement the text content and make your website better. Looking at the requirements, we see that we start off with requirement number 6. Then we go on to 7, 8, 9, and then 10. This is a total of 5 requirements for checkpoint number 2. You may be asking, why are we starting off with number 6? This is because you should have achieved requirements 1 through 5 already. So with checkpoint number 2, we're building off of what you've already accomplished, starting off with 6. Now let's read it. Add divs to each section you have and label your divs with IDs or classes. This is from assignment 2.1. You'll be adding divs to your About Me section, your favorite things section, and any other sections you have too. Let's go on to 7. Add comments for each section to give more information. This is from assignment 2.2. Comments should include information about the section. You can also make notes about things you want to do to your section to improve it, so this way you can remember it later. Number 8, add images to your website. Assignment 2.3. Add a profile avatar or icon image. Add related and appropriate images for your favorite things section, such as favorite books, games, memes, or whatever other sections you have. Must have at least one image in every section. Let's go on to 9. Add links to your favorite things section. Assignment 2.4. Can be links to your favorite website, games, or anything else you like. Can link to an image so that if you click it, you can go to its website. Do you want to make sure that the link opens in a new tab? Make sure to try it out. Number 10, add videos to your website. Assignment 2.5. Add an appropriate video in one of your favorite things sections. It can be your favorite music or video of something that you like. You must have at least one video on your website. So now we just went through requirements 6 through 10 in checkpoint number 2. Okay, that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching and look for the next video in the series, which will be a recap of checkpoint number 2.